to stop the spread. Gotta pull together, don't be misled. Wash your hands, make sure they're clean. 20 seconds or more if you know what I mean. Put a mask on, it don't matter what kind. The cloth surgical or the N95. Before I take your mask off, don't wash your hands off. Fill it outside so you can keep the germs off. Start a mask in a paper bag. And one last time, don't wash your hands. We in this together, y'all. That's right. Say it one more time.
What up, everybody? I'm trying to stream on and get this thing to act right, but I don't know if it's going to act right now. Okay. So anyway, let me pause this. Let me cancel it. Okay, guys. I'm sorry. I was trying to get this thing to act right. Some reason for Zoom is not working on Zoom. Facebook is not connecting. So I'm going through YouTube and then going to link that to my page. So I don't know how this is going to work, but we're gonna go with it anyway. All right, guys. So look, today's show, I am going to let me share my screen with you guys real quick because I really want to go into anyway. So I'm sorry. Let me introduce myself. My name is Richard Harrison. It's Kingdomhood Conversation, and we have unapologetic conversation about things that impact our community, things that we deal with politics, with business, with the coronavirus. We just take an unapologetic, broad look. It's not about parties or positions or people, but what are the policies that impact us? What are the policies that we have to deal with that impact people of color, and that there's no changes being done to these policies? And I said I've always started a show that it would just look at policy, it wouldn't look at people. But I got to look at a few people today on the Kingdomhood Conversation. I grew up, in my household, Christian, and my grandma was a Christian, my mom was a Christian, pretty much in my family was Christian. So I just want you to understand my position. But, as I got older, I began to question a lot of things about Christianity, and there's obvious things. For example, the Bible says that Jesus had hair like wool and had bronze skin. But yet you see throughout, the country and throughout in all these churches, you see a white Jesus. Now, look, people, as much as it's talked, well, I don't know, it's talked about a lot, never talked about to me, but people always say it doesn't matter what color he is. And that's fine. But if you change somebody of color to somebody who's white, aren't you promoting white supremacy in a way? Because in 13th century in England, they changed his name from Yahshua to Jesus. Okay, because they need to translate. They couldn't get the Yah sound, to sound right in English. I think you should have left it the hell alone. I mean, what does it matter? But not only that, you change his name, you change his color. And it seems like as much as it's been indoctrinated, that Christianity has been used to promote white power. As you looked at what slave owners taught, a condensed version of Christianity to keep black folks in slavery and to keep them docile. The term pastor came from in the 16th century, 17th century, that the white slave owners, a black pastor that would preach this condensed servitude, keep me in slavery, keep me a slave mindset, way of teaching the Bible, watered down version of the Bible. We can call you pastor, and you'll be able to say this on Sunday in under white supervision. And it is also this book written by a pastor that, how to make a Negro Christian. And we saw the white, supremacy had the religious backing of Christianity. The KKK used Christianity and all type of stuff. And nobody's really, and you haven't seen the white power base stand up and talk about that, about this white Jesus, about how Christianity's been used. Well, we're not getting much further away from that today when you see this evangelical base aligning themselves with Donald Trump, who is clearly a pathological liar, who is clearly someone who has, people say he's not racist, but he said racist inflammatory comments. Hate crimes has went up 320%. We see a divided America. And these evangelicals are behind him because their political position or whatever it may be is superseding what's right, your religious principles, your Christian principles. Because how do you align yourself with a pathological liar if you're a Christian, if you're both this so-called Christian, right? So, it's mainly the evangelical right. So, I have, my son's a conservative. So, I've been talking about this for 30 years. So I get the argument that Republicans, well, actually, the argument really is not, it's not weighted in anything. I should say that's a substance, because the argument always is, well, the evangelicals and the Republicans are against abortion. That is the number one argument, and that Democrats allow for babies to be murdered. Okay, that is the argument. Okay, so and again, I have my problems with both parties, but I do look at truth. I'm not pro-Democrat, pro-Republican. I'm pro-truth. And the truth of the matter is, the Democrats never said that they were for abortion. What they said, they was for pro-choice. And I wanted to bring this talk. This wasn't even in my talk track, but I just kind of wanted to bring this up. And a lot of the Hispanics and Asians and definitely Black folks have fell hook, line, and sinker with that. Well, here's my thing with this. We serve a pro-choice God, and people really get mad at me when I say that. Well, here's what I mean. I can sit here for an hour and take you through history, through Bible incidents, and all through American history, world history, where God allowed people to make their choice. For example, God told Pharaoh, "Let my people go." He didn't make Pharaoh let his people go. He said, "Let my people go." And Pharaoh refused. God allowed him to refuse. Let's go back a little bit further. Adam and Eve. God said, you can have reign over, and I'm paraphrasing, you can have reign over the world, but do not eat from a tree of either good and evil or life and death, whatever it is. Don't quote me. I don't speak Christianese, and I don't have a degree in Bibleology. But Eve was able to eat the apple from a tree. Why? Because she was allowed to make a choice. God didn't make us out of robots. God didn't stop 250 years of slavery. He allowed the colonization of America and the raping of Africa. He didn't stop them. If God's all powerful, he could have sunk the Mayflower going across the Atlantic, but he didn't. He allowed them to go over there and get the slaves, and allowed them to bring them back, and allowed them to keep 56 years in bondage. He allowed the beatings, the rapes, the murders, the castrations, the torture, the inhumane conditions for 256 years. I'm just saying this is what is allowed. Well, if you walk by a history book, you'll know that. He allowed Jim Crow. He allowed the bombing in Tulsa and in Rosewood. He allowed 100 years of Jim Crow. He allowed the KKK to lynch 7,000 people. He allowed the Holocaust. He didn't stop these people from doing it. And I can go on and 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 on. But what my point is God does not make us robots. He allows us to make decisions. Now, he may not agree with that decision. You won't pay for that decision, right? But you are allowed to make a choice, and that's what the Democrats are saying. Now, as far as the Republicans, I was talking to my son. He was saying, well, how can you say you don't care? You care about Black kids. You don't care about them in the womb. Well, my question about the Republicans, how are you going to say you care about Black kids and you ain't doing nothing for the ones that are here? We have 15 million Black kids in poverty, 15 million. You can't name one policy that the Republicans passed in the last 40 years to help the middle class or poor people. We have 1 out of 5 kids that are going to bed hungry every night in this country. So we have 40 million people standing in food lines during this pandemic. Okay, and then the Republicans are blocking the HEROES Act that was passed by the Democrats in a couple of months. Now, from what I hear, there's supposed to be some traction, supposed to get something passed. But you can't name one policy that the Republicans have passed that's Republican initiated, Republican passed, and passed by a Republican president in the last 40 years, 50 years that have helped Black people, which I'm endeared to, or just fact help the middle class or the poor. You can't name it. I bet anybody. I bet you $200 that you cannot. I'm not bipartisan, none of that, because if you look at Donald Trump's First Step Act, that was a bipartisan bill started by and if it wasn't for the Democrats, there wouldn't be a First Step Act. And we're going to talk about why that's not done very much here lately. You want to talk about him giving money to historically black colleges? That was a bipartisan bill. Okay, so don't even try those. It doesn't work. So if the Republicans care about Black folks or about the middle class, what are their policies? See, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna talk about Donald Trump. I ain't gonna talk about whatever, a politician. I'm talking to you about policy. And there is no policy that the Republicans have passed to help people of color. All right, so I just wanted to go through that. So I want to take a look at, and I'm going to share my screen with you guys. And this is why I really believe that Christianity, the most widely practiced religion in the world, but also has been the most violent religion in the world. I mean, Christians have killed more people than any other religion. We are seeing the evangelicals align themselves with the devil, and that's Donald Trump. I really believe that, man. And I'm going to talk about why he is from a policy standpoint here in a minute. But I want to take you to Paula White. This is his spiritual advisor, right? And she is praying for him. This is before the election. All right, wait a minute. What was this? Let me check my screen. I'm gonna share my screen with you in a minute. Yeah. This is just before the election when she was praying to the angels that Donald Trump would win. Okay. Here we go. Share. All right, so you guys see my screen now. All right, so she, right? And speaking in tongues and praying to the angels, and I'll be damned. But anyway, listen for yourself. Here it is.
Have even dispatched from Africa right now. Africa right now. From
Woo.
Africa right now. They're coming here. In the name
all
of
the way
Jesus,
from Africa.
South America.
Oh my God.
They're coming here. From Africa, from South America.
South America, where you call Mexicans rapists and drug dealers.
Angelic reinforcement.
But now the angels are coming from South America. Oh, and you call Africa shithole countries, but when you need angels, they coming. Okay, I got you.
I hear the sound of victory.
You hear the sound of victory.
I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound of victory.
I'm done. All right. Well, let me say this, people. The angels have spoken. His orange behind lost. So the prayers were answered. All right? The prayers were answered. All right? I really think that God is getting tired of this nonsense. God cannot be happy with the way Christianity has been practiced. I'm sorry. I don't believe that God is happy with what the hell's going on. These are charlatans, these old fake ass evangelicals. That's what I call them, not evangelical, evangelists. You come on, man. So here's another one. All right, Kenneth Copeland. This dude right here, this is funny. I guess it was back in April or something, when he said that I am going to COVID-19. I'm going to blow. And the cases went up. When he blew his old stank breath. Now, I know you guys see my screen. Look at this old devil. You look at that picture of this dude. He looks like a straight demon. Look at them ears. Look at them little teeth, little piranha teeth. Look at his beady little eyes. Come on, man, that's the devil. I'm sorry. Look, Jesus said, all those that call me Lord, Lord, will not be called by my name. There you go right there. Not only that, he's worth $840 million. Okay. Because these dumbasses is giving him his money. And that's what you get. If you want to get his clown your money, fine. But here he is, not respecting. One of the things that God tells us is obey the law of the land. Okay? And an evangelical should not be using his pulpit because at the end of the day, if you want to get Christian about it, Joe Biden and Donald Trump, as much as I know Jesus is just patient with us, but Lord have mercy. They're both children of God, right? They're both a child of God. So if God is in control, right, and God is all knowing, and God has our life planned and everything, like he says in Jeremiah, then it was planned for Trump to be president, just like it was planned for Biden to win. So how is you as an evangelical going to promote one man over another if you're really a Christian? This is where Christianity is a problem. People are using it to promote white power because all these evangelicals are white. You got, Pat Roberts, you got, Jerry Falwell Jr., you got this clown, you got Paula White, you got Joel Osteen. At the end of the day, they're all white men promoting white power. So listen to what this clown says.
Biden's president. Ha ha
ha ha ha. And then they got to show a black man. They got to show Kente, Kizze, and Sambo. Okay. Pro-Trump.
COVID-19.
Here he is. COVID-19. Here he is. Check this out, y'all.
I'm blow.
Oh shit! His breath stank.
On you.
On you. Look at this little.
You are destroyed forever.
Look at this little beady little bastard. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Pointing his finger at you. Okay. 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 This was back in April. Okay. This was back in April. Okay. Let me look. Hey, listen. He blew that stank breath, and the cases went up. 100 and some odd thousand people have died since he's made this. If you are a real child of God and you blessed and all this old stuff, then why didn't the cases go down? Why didn't the virus disappear? Why are we not back in church singing and hooping and praying for God? If you such a Christian, if you got all this power, this right here, God is showing us that these are fake ass people, man. We got to stop. If you understand your Bible, and this $840 million dollars he's worth that he's gotten from people who probably on Section 8, living on farms and shit, poor as hell, living in a neighborhood and trailer parks. God never told us to give our money to a man. He never said that. Malachi 3:3, God was talking about the church so they can have money supporting the guards that supervise the church. But he never said give money to a man. That's what he was talking about. And that and what people gave was supposed to go back out into the community and to help the poor. It wasn't supposed to make somebody worth $840 million. That's not even biblical. There's nowhere in the Bible where it says give your money to a preacher and make them worth $840 million. Hell, Jesus didn't have a place to lay his head. Why the hell you got this little short little devil all that worth all that money? But this is what Christianity has been made into. Look at this. Prosperity gospel.
I don't care if you ain't got but 2 nickels. Give him the first one.
Oh,
you know what I do after I know what I know now? Give him both of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can say that. Here it is. $6.3 million home, tax exempt. Because see, look at this. Y'all seeing this? Look at this here. Look, what is that? That's not a damn home. That's an estate. Look at all the water around it. You explain. Look at it. Got a tennis court. Got a second home. Got a docking thing off the water. And you know what? Since he's a Christian, since he's a pastor, they don't pay any taxes. So even if you worked your tail off and became a millionaire, and you were worth $6.3 million a year, especially if you live in my beautiful state of California, you're gonna see about $3 million of that. because you got the feds taking their 35%, and then you got California taking their 13%. If you live in Texas, you live in Florida, you live in Seattle, and there's some other states that don't have state income tax, then you'll see a little bit more of that. But a pastor does not pay taxes. Come on, man, that's gangster. Anyway, I'm off this Christian stuff, but I'm just telling you, come on, at some point, you got to wake the hell up. All right, moving on to the next subject. The Republicans are eating their own, right? I want to take you over this dude here. All right. So, and I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this election stuff, but I think it's just Friday night, and I just love the humor in it, right? I love the humor, and these clowns talk about the fraud election. So here's the thing about this fraud stuff. Okay, so damn, just damn. Okay, so Homeland Security said there was no fraud. Okay. William Barr, his legal puppet, okay? His legal puppet said there was no fraud, or he couldn't find any, right? He couldn't find any, period. I mean, because if there was some, he would have found it. Let me go back. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a minute. Hold up. No. I'm going to pause sharing. No, I don't want to do that. Let me see here. All right, hold on a minute. Okay, anyway, I stopped sharing. Yeah, I'm stopping sharing. So anyway, if there was fraud, okay, William Barr would have found it. Okay, even though the DOJ is supposed to be separate from the president, the attorney reports to the president, but it's not supposed to be his own bully pit. Donald Trump has used the federal government as his own bully pit. And those who have not played the puppet for him or been a goon, he's fired them. Okay, so William Barr said they found none. William Barr controls the Department of Justice. He said there's none. The FBI didn't find any. Homeland Security didn't find any. The guy over cybersecurity elections said there was no fraud. This was the most secure election. You had Rush Limbaugh that said, hey, man, he said there was going to be evidence. They didn't present it. That's bad. Rush Limbaugh even said there was no fraud? Well, Rush Limbaugh didn't say there was no fraud. I don't want to misquote him. What he said was there was no evidence presented. Tucker Carlson said the same thing. He said that he asked for the evidence and it didn't show up. Okay. All right. So, and in court, okay, see, Rudy passed gas Giuliani. If you saw that meeting that he was in on TV with the blonde bimbo, and we gonna get to that in a minute. He kept farting during every time he spoke. Well, you know, the election fraud. I mean, come on, man, and control your bodily functions, you old bastard. Up there passing gas doing, and you could hear it on TV too. A stank butt farting and shit. Probably need to check his drawers. But anyway, enough of that nonsense. When you had the bimbo on there, all right, they're going into they may go in front of some of these meetings he had was in a hotel. Okay, so what I want these people, and I was talking to my son about this. He was saying, well, Dominion and the way it's coded, it's easy to hack. Okay, well, there is no evidence, and I was telling him, because again, he doesn't brag about Trump. I never hear him say pro-Trump, but he doesn't say anything about Trump either. Probably he talks about the Democrat. So that's what Black Republicans do. They'll talk about the Democrat and ignore the stuff in their party. That's how the Black Republican playbook. And I was telling him, I said, there's no evidence of fraud. You can't. There is none. There's no evidence of it. There's no evidence of it. And if there was evidence, then why aren't they saying that in court? Donald Trump knows his ass is done. He knows his ass is done. He's getting you clowns to. He raised $207 million too. So he's giving you clowns pie in the sky so you can keep giving them money. That's why he's keeping this crap going, because he can keep raising money. He raised $207 million. What do you think he's going to do with that money? I think Donald Trump's going to start a media company when he gets out. That's what he's going to do. He's going to start a media company. He's going to go around the country campaigning and raising hell and keeping division and try to make Biden's term as president and try and make him a one term for one thing. So that's what the goal is, because he wants to run in 2024. But he's trying to just make things hell for Biden. Okay, so that's why I said they got to lock his ass up. They got to get rid of his ass. That's the only way. So anyway, we talk about the election fraud. You only can talk about the Republicans. You got to go after Georgia. They're going after Georgia. You know, they're going after Pennsylvania, Arizona. They're going after these Republican states. They're eating their own. They even going after Jeff Kemp. He is a Donald Trump kiss ass. I mean, he is a pro-Trump. The Secretary of State for Georgia was pro-Trump. I mean, these guys were Trump kiss asses. They got this nose all up his orange behind. And he's going after them. So now we have the Georgia runoff that's coming, right? That's very important. It allows who controls the Senate. If Warnock and Ossoff win this, there's a 50-50 tie in the Senate. And guess who's the deciding vote? I'm sorry. That black woman you called nasty, Kamala Harris. And I hope they win, because they should run a Boston on their ass. Just run everything. Because, hey, at the end of the day, there are 300 bills that have been passed, 400, that have been passed in 2010 that are sitting at the House that Mitch McConnell has blocked everyone. They should run them all through. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen with you guys one more time. I want you guys to listen to this dude here. Listen to this nonsense.
Right here. Where's David Perdue? He ought to be standing right here. Those two people want your vote, then they ought to tell you what we're telling Brian Kemp. Get a special session of the legislature now. Do not be fooled twice. This is Georgia. We ain't dumb.
This is Georgia. We ain't dumb.
Go vote on January 5th
country
on
ass.
a machine made by China.
Made by
You're
China.
not going to fool Georgians again.
Okay.
I want you to go to the governor's mansion. I want you to circle it.
What pisses me off is
I
that,
want you to blow your horns.
okay, I'm pause it. What pisses me off is that every time throughout this country, throughout the history of this country, anytime you have some white Klansman that wants to stand up, or some white supremacist, or some white pro-Trumper, you can find a Negro. Matter of fact, now they got two Negroes to stand, two Sambos to stand behind them and sit there nodding their head and clapping, yes, a master. Come on, man. Really? Look at this dude right here. He so Sammy Davis Jr. looking dude. And, you know, look at, he like Herman Monster. That's what he is. Sammy Davis and Herman Monster have resurrected from the dead to support this clown talking this nonsense. First of all, the governor, first of all, I think in most states, I believe, but it's against Georgia law for a governor to interfere with an election. He can't do that. He's hands off. That's Secretary of State. He can't call no special session and all that. Well, nah, he can't do any of that. I mean, he can't interfere. It's against Georgia law. Talk about you asking the man to break the law on TV. Good Lord. Anyway, let me listen to the rest of this.
Until Brian Kemp comes out and orders a special
I'm sorry, I made a mistake.
session of the
3
Georgia
Negroes.
legislature.
You got this dude right here. The little Negro, the black midget, Niglet. You got Niglet, Sammy Davis Jr., and Herman Monster. What a damn shame. Whew.
As far as I'm concerned, lock him up.
Lock him up.
The poll book is
So I'm not mad at you. Lock Brian Kemp up. I think Brian Kemp should be locked up from what he did to Stacey Abrams. Purged 59,000 black votes, and he won by 59,000. Okay? So I think they should lock Brian Kemp up. I ain't mad at him. Go ahead. And then this dummy is telling Republicans not to vote. Don't vote. Listen to this clown. It's stupid, man. So here is this blonde bimbo. And have you noticed 55% of white women vote for Donald Trump? So here's one bimbo, and then you had the other religious bimbo. Don't they look alike? Just straight bimbos. Anyway, not all white women are bimbo. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying these two clowns, these Trump supporters. And here go Rudy Fartman Giuliani right next to him. Probably holding his booty cheeks tight because he's been farting all through the goddamn meeting. Probably because he was nervous up here lying and shit. So anyway, he got this chick here. And listen to this old nonsense.
Completely off.
Yeah.
Completely off.
Off
That
30,000?
I'd say that poll book is off by over 100,000. That poll book. Why don't you look at the registered voters on there? How many registered voters are on there? Do you even know the answer to that?
No, I guess I'm trying to get to the bottom of this here.
Zero. There's zero.
So, my question then is, if the
Guess how many? Wait. What about the turnout rate? 120%.
He's telling her to shut the hell up.
Let's let Representative Johnson ask his question, please.
Oh shit.
Wow.
Anyway, all right. So, here's another one. Here's Lou Dobbs. This one. He probably about 150 years old. So bastard. So here's another example. And again, the blonde bimbo is going after Republican states. So you mean to tell me that the Democrats are in cahoots with the Republicans to oust the Republican president? I tell you what, man. Hey, look, if you believe that, then I convince you that I saw Tupac in the mall having lunch with Biggie Smalls last night. Okay? If you believe that, I can convince you of that. I got a lakefront property, an oceanfront property that I could sell you in Arizona, that I could sell you in Nevada, that I could sell you in San Bernardino. Oceanfront property. And I tell you what, I'll give you a good deal on it. Oceanfront property, nice view of the Pacific Ocean, and I give it to you. I give you a good deal on it. Just send your money to dumbass@gmail.com. God, give me a break. All right, so here's this fool. Because William Barr, Papa Smurf, couldn't find any evidence of voter fraud, Lou Old Man Dobbs just goes off on it. Check this out here.
Good evening, everybody. President Trump, his legal team, members of the Republican Party, making advances today in the battle for the White House. There have been significant developments in 6 key battleground states, all of which bolster President Trump's charge that there has been clear electoral fraud that nullified the will of the people in the November election. The president's progress puts him at odds with the insidious rhinos, radical Dems, corporate America, big tech, and the deep state who have tried to overthrow his presidency for more than 4 years.
Okay, enough of that shit. Okay, so, okay. I don't know what to make of that. The deep state, the FBI. Okay, it has nothing to do with the people turned out in mass numbers to vote. And the fact that no one can find credible. It's not just William Barr. Or whatever his name is. What's his name? It's Barr. His last name is Barr. The AG, Attorney General. But nobody's able to find. Hey, Lou Dobbs, you dumb old dementia-having bastard. Look, they are not saying to anybody who's talking about fraud. They are not saying fraud in court, people. They're not. I'm sorry. I know that makes your belly ache. I know it makes your butt sore. But they are not claiming fraud in court because there are legal ramifications because you're under oath. They only saying that in public. They only saying that, in these shit shows and saying it to the media. But they ain't saying that in court. All right. So, yeah. They are not saying that. Okay? So, let me stop sharing my screen here. Hold on, guys. What I meant. Okay, so let me stop sharing for a second. Yeah, so they are not saying that in court. They're not saying it. Okay, so I want to take you to here's another example, and then we're gonna move away from this. I'm done with this. But here's another example where they're eating their own. The Secretary of State of Georgia is getting threats. These aren't Democrats threatening him. These are Trump supporters. These are Republicans threatening their own because he's supposed to break the law and overturn an election. Here it is again. I'm just going to keep hitting you with the facts. That way you can't say that somebody's making this stuff up. I'm not making anything up. This is coming out of this man's mouth.
Joe DeGenova today asked for Chris Krebs, a patriot who ran CISA, to be shot.
Ooh, wow.
A 20-something tech in Gwinnett County today has death threats and a noose put out saying he should be hung for treason.
A noose?
Because
that
he was
sounds
transferring
familiar.
a report on
A
matches from an EMS to a county computer so he could read it.
Let me stop this. He said a noose. Well, shit. You know that's a white supremacist. Check this out here. They put nooses in front of black people's yard to say, nigga, we gonna hang your ass. They used to hang black folks from trees with a noose. Come on, so it's right there. The white dude said that they put a noose out there in front of this man's house, I guess, or where it was. But who puts a noose out there? White supremacists. Okay.
It has to stop.
Ooh, it gotta stop, man.
Mr. President, you have not condemned these actions or this language. Senators, you have not condemned this language or these actions. This has to stop. We need you to step up, and if you're going to take a position of leadership, show some. My boss, Secretary Raffensperger, his address is out there. They have people doing caravans in front of their house. They've had people come onto their property. Trisha, his wife of 40 years, is getting sexualized threats through her cell phone. It has to stop. This is elections. This is the backbone of democracy, and all of you who have not said a damn word are complicit in this.
Okay. All right, now here's what I feel about this. Where were you at when they were doing voter suppression that impacted black folks? Where were you at? Where were you at then? Where were you out throughout the South commenting on it? And I know he doesn't have power throughout the South, only his state. But where were you at when they were denying the black folks the right to vote so Brian Kempton could win the election? Where are all these people at complaining? So look, I hate to see any man get threatened. But at the end of the day, the chickens have come home to roost because your ass was silent when it was black folks dealing with what you're dealing with. So, yeah, that's what it is. Look where we've gone to. I'm going to share this article with you guys really quick. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen and look and show you guys. General Flynn. This guy was the leader of, this guy commanded military. He's a 3-star general in the military. And this clown said it was him and another general, McCarthy or McCallie, or one of those names, where they are talking about, General Flynn said he needs to implement martial law, Trump. So stop the inauguration, stop the electoral college from casting their votes, and implement martial law. So martial law pretty much means that the government and the military control America, and they stop all activity, all really strategic movement is controlled by the military and the military and the government. So it's pretty much we're on shutdown. Anything, you can't do anything under martial law. This guy was a general in an army. This clown here. Can you believe this? I mean, that is like I'm just passing it. You guys can read it yourself. But this was the guy that Trump pardoned. Well, no wonder he pardoned him. See, the thing is, if you're going to be a Trump kiss ass and be a Trump coon, then he's going to be your best friend. As long as you say stuff like this. A general should never say anything like this. Martial law? We the people conventions calls on Trump to invoke martial law to have military conduct national revote. So in other words, we're going to have the military take control of all secretaries of state and all the voting and all the voting laws and structure, and we're going to supersede the state and demand, and matter of fact, not demand a recount. We're going to take it over and do a recount ourselves. This is what the guy's saying. When have you ever heard of some shit like this? Man, this dude, I don't know how he ever, if the military doesn't come out and speak against this clown, then I don't know. I'll speak against that man. I really don't know what to say about that. So anyway, I'm gonna hurry up and move forward. I know I've been rambling on. Okay, so the vaccine is supposed to be coming out this month, and there are 6 companies that are doing vaccines. There's much, and the question is, are you gonna take the vaccine or not? I want to show you guys. There's 6 companies. Let's see here. Let me go. Oh, what happened to this? Hold on a second, guys. There's 6 of them. Anyway, I'm going to skip that part because I'm running short on time. But there's 6 companies that are doing it, and I want to show you guys just one of them, and that is Pfizer Biotech. And it's supposed to come out this month. A lot of them, 6 of them are trying to get approval from the FDA. Don't know which ones are going to get approved, but just looking at this one, and there's a lot of questions that I have. For one is, during the trials of this vaccination, how many Black people were tested? How many actually got the vaccine? And how many got a placebo? For those of you who don't know, the placebo is in other words for is sugar pill. It's like a fake drug. They just want this. They want to give some people the actual one, and then give people the ones that give them a fake pill, and that's the way you make sure people are not acting and stuff like that. So, and they did that. So, and they said out of 42,000 people, only 182 of those had like some symptoms. So, and then they, it was like a day or so, and then they felt better. So, what I thought they did with this is one, like I said, there's 5 other companies that, and I don't know what you have to do your own research, which ones they're gonna give you. Well, I guess it would be determined by which ones actually get approved from FDA once you're actually gonna take. But this one here is interesting, and I want to share my screen. I just want to read this to you real quick. First of all, you got a biotech company. So you got Pfizer Biotech that's doing it, right? Okay, so here I talk about 142,000 people experiencing a vaccine. The rest were given a placebo. The 170 people fell ill, COVID-19. 8 of them were in the vaccine group. So around 5% of cases of vaccine in the vaccine group, which is a rate of about 95%. I guess that's what you need to get approval. This is a very high number by WHO, and says it would be happy with 50%. So I don't know, maybe they may be on the way to get their thing. So anyway, the ingredient is messenger RNA, and what this does is it carries in instructions making a virus spike protein, right? So I guess this spike protein is this it's a messenger that has instructions that goes into the cell, and it talks about the mRNA is synthetic, right? So they're not infecting you with the actual COVID-19 virus. That's what I thought. At least this particular company is. The other ones may be, I don't know. So it's delivered in a tiny spear, and that's the way it enters into and it's put into a fatty material called nanoparticles, right? So it's ejected into the arm. So supposedly, once this synthetic messenger RNA gets into the cells and it gives the instructions, what it does, it spikes the B and T cells, which fight off diseases. And then once it builds this, it's supposed to build this ability to fight the COVID. And then the actual synthetic, particle that this material that this is supposed to dissolve. I don't know if it does that or not. I'm just saying what this says. Here's right there. It says, there's a protein spike that recognizes as foreign by your immune system, which mounts an attack against it. Antibodies, B and T cells, are activated, according to whatever that name is, chief executive of the small German company Biotech, developed vaccine, a U.S. drug giant with Pfizer. So they partnered together. The immune memory is also laid down, he says, which means that the immune system has learned how to defeat the pathogen and is primed to mount a swift response if it encounters the coronavirus again. All right, so you got to have 2 shots. So they say for this particular one, you got to have it within 6 months, And if you don't, you won't be fully immune to it yet. So you have to have that other shot. So I guess the question is that if you don't get the second shot, what happens? How long does the first shot last? Or if you get both shots, does it last a year? Does it last 2 years? Do you have to do it every year like the flu shot? There's so many questions. What are the long-term effects? Nobody knows. What would be all the side effects? I mean, this trial has for Pfizer Biotech said there was mild effects, but once you get in the mass population, people who have underlying conditions, it may affect more. We just don't know. AstraZeneca is coming out with one. I heard that one was, had some people pass around a conspiracy theory said it has white fetus from an aborted baby in it. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. But anyway, do your research. I'm just pointing this out. Eventually, people are going to have to get vaccinated so we can get past this. But it's going to go through a whole lot of approval. Because look, we had the 𝐔𝐘𝐒 experiment where they injected black folks with syphilis, and not only and watch them die to see how it affects the body. That's why African Americans are skeptical of any type of medicine. In addition, I read a book called The Medical Apartheid that talked about. I mean, I've read books about slavery, but I didn't realize how they used. They did all their medical practices on slaves. Now in the 1700s, you got to know they didn't have sterilization, so they would operate on slaves, do all these test surgeries with no anesthesia. Come on, man, that is beyond torture. All the gynecological advancements that women take advantage of today were done on black women. So they tortured Keisha to save Becky. Now I know going to get the pap smear and all that stuff is no fun, but imagine them using U.S. tests and also doing operations, between inside your vagina with no anesthesia. They were doing that to slaves. They were doing all kinds of surgeries on black men. So there's a long history of why we don't trust. But anyway, so just so you know, if you don't know that, that's why people are skeptical of, black folks are, kind of skeptical of doctors. Okay, so anyway, vaccination coming out. Hopefully, we'll everybody to have something that's safe that people can trust. Yeah. So let me do this really, really quick. Donald Trump is a bitter, sore loser. This man is evil. See, that's what you don't understand. This man is a straight devil. So look here. We're not talking about, I'm going to share my screen. We're not talking about what this man will do while he's leaving office. Look, there are some death rows coming up in the federal prison. There are 4 black men and 1 black woman. They're on death row for murder. Now, I'm not saying they should be saved, but what I am saying is, I'm sharing my screen with you. Why is Donald Trump rushing to get them executed? Some of these people are not scheduled to be executed until January, and some, I think, like in April or March of 2021. Why is he rushing it? Why is he rushing to execute these black people? What happened to the First Step Act? Now, these people are scheduled to die because of their crimes. That it is what it is. They murdered some people. One of these dudes murdered a child or something. I'm not saying they should be saved, but my question is why are you rushing? Why you even care? They're scheduled for death. Why are you rushing it? What's up with that? So here's what we're doing too. And this is an article from ProPublica. These are very good articles that you should look at. Here's some of the things that Donald Trump is doing. This is one of the 5 that we know of. He's doing all kind of crazy shit. But here's one of them. Check this out. On a proposal have raced through the process with little notice but unusual speed and deadly consequences. Listen to this. The rule could reintroduce firing squads. Donald Trump is trying to introduce the firing squad and electrocution from federal execution. There was the drug for lethal injection is unavailable, and I think there's been a lot of to do about it, I guess. I don't know if I'm pro death penalty or not. I know if somebody murders somebody I'm close to, I don't want their ass gone. So my hypocrisy only goes so far. So anyway, but let's hear. It says the Justice Department surfaced the proposal in August and accepted the public comments for only 30 days instead of the usual 60 days. The rule could be White House approval for November 6th. So that means that this has probably been approved, up for approval. Yeah. So yeah, easy to pollute. All right. So Donald Trump is rolling back all the environmental things to make it easy for people to pollute the air because he don't care. Here's why this is important, because all these pollutions are in black and underserved neighborhoods. The factories are in black neighborhoods. They're in Navarios and ghettos and near trailer parks, I believe. They damn sure are not in rich white neighborhoods. So of course he don't care about the air being polluted. This is chicken plants. They want to rush the chicken plant. So rolling back all the regulations to protect us from harmful pesticides and things like that. He's rushing that through. So you better watch. If he does, you better watch that chicken you eat and all that stuff. So you know what this is going to do. This is a very good article. I'm not going to read through it all because I'm kind of like, I want to wrap this up. But what this is going to do is make things very, very challenging for Biden when he comes in. So let's see. I wanted to look at one part of this. He's doing a bunch of things with the interior. All civil service workers. He is when you're civil service, you work for the government. You are protected by something like being a union. The president just can't fire you for any reason. So what he's trying to do is remove the protections, like put them under like a Schedule F, I believe it is, where he can fire them at will. Because for civil service, you gotta fire somebody for not because you like them. You gotta fire them because you working for the government. You got protected. You have to fire somebody because they, did some gross misconduct or something like that. He's trying to remove that protection for the people who are under civil service protection now, and then put his goons there, and then put them back under civil rights civil service protection. That's just gangster. Visas for workers, the H-1B visa, which allows people to come over here and work. He's going to make it. He wants to implement lower pay for those who are uneducated. Now, I saw the tech industry go in the handle of people from East India in the 90s through this program. They came over here and they worked for half what Americans would work for, and they totally took over the market. That's why you see so many Indian people in tech, because they were allowed to come over here on work visas and they end up staying. So I don't know how much I'm against this, because I don't think people should come from foreign nations and take over our techs and take all the jobs because they'll work for $2, $2 an hour and you want 25. I don't agree with that. But he's rushing this through. So why is that? Also asylum. He's making it harder for asylum. I'm not totally against that either, because I don't think you should be just to claim your country is bad and be able to stay here. So, but anyway, there's something to be said about him rushing this stuff. There's something to be said about that. So, yeah. So this man is going out with a bang. He is really trying to just tear stuff up, because when you got somebody who's evil like that, and he knows he's on his last days, people like that cause destruction on the way out. Absolute destruction on the way out. Okay, so and everybody's talking about all this voter fraud stuff. It's a distraction. Be smarter than that. This man know he out of here, but he's trying to keep his supporters focused on voter support. Well, the stuff that he's doing, they wouldn't care anyway. But anyway, even other people who are against him, keep them focused on the voter fraud and talking about him and say all this stupid stuff. On the other hand, he's doing all this dirty stuff on the way out. This is just some of the stuff that we know of. Who knows what else he's doing? Anyway, that's the Kingdomhood conversation for today. Thanks for tuning in. Also, yeah, real quick before I go, California's headed for a semi-lockdown. It seems like not much change for us, but while you're in this lockdown, don't sit here and cry and complain. What are some things you can do to grow? Learn a new language, start a business, write that book that you said you was gonna write. Start doing those crafts and building, something that you always want to build that you never want to, that you never had time to do. Now it's time to do work around the house. Now it's time to start your philanthropical ambitions. Now it's time to get out and help people who are doing worse than you. There's a lot you can do that when you come out of the end of this COVID thing, which looks like summer, we should be out of this, that you can be a much better person instead of sitting around protesting about going out some damn place. There is things that you can do. There are people who started companies during this COVID that are making a ton of money. And you sitting around crying and complaining about going out some damn place. Get over yourself. Come on, man. Get creative, get better, and grow through this. All right, God bless you guys. We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in to Kingdomhood.